welcome to the Journey podcast. I am Dan Konjorski, your host, with my co-host or host, Krystal Barbosa. And I appreciate her being part of Pathfinder Counseling Group. And she is a vital counselor here, working with marriage and family clients working on their marriage, right?
Correct.
You can also follow us and subscribe to the Journey podcast through YouTube or pathfindercounselinggroup.org. It's great to have you here, Krystal.
Thank you.
Yes, today we're going to go over and explore the sixth floor of Dr. John Gottman's Sound Relationship House. Is that right?
Correct. Yep. And today's conversation is going to be basically all around shared dreams. So the dreams of each other.
Okay, so the title of it is Make the Dreams Come True, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so when we talk about the different types of dreams, we're not just talking about like the hopes, the dreams and aspirations, but the little dreams, the little goals that someone has in life, not just the big things.
Okay.
Because it's those little things that connect you together with your partner. It's those things that you're related with each other and connects you. So a lot of people ask, why is it important? Why is it so important to have shared dreams? Well, a lot of it has to do with showing kind of that respect towards your partner.
Okay.
So it kind of also helps you get closer with one another, helps build that trust and that commitment by having those open conversations and being able to share those dreams.
Right.
And even if you don't agree with it, being able to say, you know what, I don't agree with your dream, but I respect it enough. And let's try to find a middle ground that we can both agree with.
Okay. So let me ask you a question about dreams. Are dreams supposed to be more definitive or more general in scope?
For John Gottman, it can be both.
Okay.
That's why he says it can be those big dreams, those overall, like, how many kids do we want to have? What does our retirement look like? You know, those are the big ones. But it can be as small as, what color do you want the curtains?
Okay.
What?
Well, what about, there was a period of time in my relationship with Maribel, our marriage, that I would ask her dreams, and she would say something as general as, "I just want to be happy and a happy family. I just want to, to me, and I think the way we were raised plays a big role.
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not we can dream or not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like, I don't know. I mean, that was just, her answer was always puzzling, is always puzzling to me. I think her dreams now are changing a little bit. Thankfully, I got a little more definitive, answers from her. But I think when I remember thinking, and this could be, my knuckleheadedness, if you will, but I remember thinking, and that's unrealistic to have a Hallmark type dream. I want a Hallmark, general Hallmark-ish type of family dynamic.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just unrealistic. I grew up in reality.
Yeah.
Life was tough.
Yeah.
Everyone didn't talk softly to each other.
Yeah.
Is that a healthy dream where I just want to talk everyone to have peace and everyone to, utopia?
Yeah.
Utopian. Is that a healthy dream?
It's a nice goal.
It's a nice goal.
It's a nice goal.
Oh, okay.
Having everybody happy is definitely a nice goal. But you brought up a really important part. You and your wife had different backgrounds. And that's something that Gottman pulls a lot of, is the background of each individual. Because a lot of times, depending on the background, kind of like you and Maribel, you had a very difficult upbringing. She had a little bit of easier upbringing.
Right.
She's Puerto Rican, so she also had a different cultural upbringing.
Right.
So all of those things can make people's dreams a little bit different.
Right.
And depending on the culture, especially, it can make it where you can understand and be respectful towards that dream.
Right.
Or, and I'm not saying you weren't respectful, but you can kind of not understand why somebody has a certain dream the way they do, because it doesn't align with your values.
Right.
So that's definitely something that a lot of times people talk about when they're talking about their dreams is, well, why is her dream or his dream so different from mine? It doesn't make sense. Well, it's because you have a different set of values on what equates a dream, what makes a dream, a dream.
All right.
But yeah, so, and that's kind of where we come from. What does a dream mean? So we were talking about this a little earlier, about what exactly is a dream. Is it just like a big overall, I want a white house with a white picket fence, or is it, any idea that you possibly could have? And so what John Gottman says is that a dream is either a value or a principle you can live by. So there goes your values that we were talking about. Something that is a deep seated, like a deep wish from a childhood. So something that you have had within yourself, like, oh, I've wanted to be a doctor my whole life. I've wanted to be a firefighter my whole life.
Right.
He also says that a vision of yourself, your future self, that's something else that is a dream. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see us or our family? And then another one is the legacy you want to leave. A lot of people don't think about the future. I mean, that's beyond just you having kids, but it's what you're going to leave your kids, and then of course the need for creativity, freedom, and connection, just having that ability to connect with your partner with those dreams, and being able to have that connection. And it all comes down to also following everything we learned from the last 5 steps, or the last 5 floors. So having those conversations, those soft startups, having the understanding of each other's love maps, understanding the whole, your whole background, and things like that, and making those connections that you didn't realize were important, just so that you can have those dreams. And so he gave some examples too. I've always dreamed of owning a small business. I want to feel like I matter in the world. And that's a big one, feeling like you matter. A lot of times when we have couples that maybe came back from a bad background, they don't feel like they matter. And so they have a problem showing their sharing and, even believing in their own dreams. And so it's really important to have your partner ask those questions. What is your dream? Because your partner might have never been given that opportunity to share their dream.
Right.
So, but yeah, so those are the different qualifications, I guess, per Gottman, that can form a dream. Those are different ways of looking at a dream in his eyes. The next thing is kind of what gets in the way of having those dreams, or sharing those dreams with your partner. And a lot of it, the biggest one is judgment. When we judge one another and we are very definitive and, oh, well, your dream makes no sense. It doesn't hold water. It doesn't make sense, whatever it might be. And we're using our own filter of, oh, well, a dream is, this is what I believe a dream's supposed to look like. Yours doesn't look like it, so it's not a dream. So they get really defensive because you're saying that this is what a dream looks like, but what you have is not. And so what we need to do is we need to have a way to share each other's dreams and be respectful of it. Even if your dream might look a little different than what I believe a dream looks like, we still have to have that respect so that we're not detaching from one another. We're not turning away from one another. We're turning towards one another. Remember, Gottman's biggest thing is he wants the couple to turn towards one another, because his belief is that the way that we get divorced is when we start turning away from one another. And so if we're able to have those conversations and feel that safety with one another, we're able to share those dreams in a safe space. But quite often, inadvertently, kind of like with you and Maribel, where you're like, that doesn't make sense. Why does she have such a simple dream like that? We might offend our partner because we don't understand their point of view.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, for a long time, and I still don't. I think Hollywood does influence.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Hallmark is not realistic.
No,
Hallmark movies are not
neither are
realistic.
Disney princess movies. That's what
Yeah,
I grew up
that's
on.
right.
Yeah.
Disney, Hallmark, they're great entertainment, but we
Yeah.
need to treat them as that.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah, and not
That's
reality,
it,
not even
not
close to
reality.
reality.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And a lot of kids, and I say kids, God, I feel old, but a lot of our new, like 20-year-old, like young couples, they were raised with a lot of that cartoon happily ever after image, that as soon as they get into an argument or a disagreement, they're like, oh, well, I guess we're not meant to be. They get uncomfortable with those uncomfortable moments of having that discussion that might lead to an argument or a discussion. But it's so important to have those to grow from them. But a lot of our young couples see that, and I've noticed they see it as a detriment rather than something that they can work towards fixing. And that's what Gottman does, is he works towards fixing that, which the first step, of course, is having those conversations, getting to know one another really, really well.
Right. Well, I certainly hope our audience reviews all these videos we're doing on the journey, because basically you're educating, in a sense, our audience.
Oh yes, these are all helpful tips to any couple.
Right.
Yeah. And so besides judgment, there's a couple other things that also can deflect the importance of your partner's dream. So we have judgment, we minimize, quite often.
Okay.
Or we redirect them, like, why don't you just focus on the job you have? Stop thinking, stop dreaming bigger, just stay where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Or we avoid, which is the biggest no in a relationship, where we just turn away from them and let's not talk about this right now. That's not
Right.
that important right now. Again, we're minimizing
Yeah.
our partner. We're not showing them that their dreams are as important as our own.
Yeah.
And when that happens, once again, the worst thing happens. We start turning away from one another.
Right.
And that's why it's important to have those conversations.
Right.
But yeah, so he said that it often happens not out of cruelty, but out of fear, stress, and misunderstanding. But over time, what created those gridlocks will go away if you have those conversations. It's very normal. And that's one thing I really try to normalize with my clients is it's okay to have an argument or two. That's
Right.
very normal. It's very
Right.
healthy, in fact.
Right.
A lot of couples, they fear, oh, well, we get an argument at least once a week. Oh, once a week, that's not bad. At least you're having those conversations. If you're having them, where they're constructive, that's a good thing. Now, if they're destructive, where we're doing all those things to avoid, minimize, judge, then you're hurting your relationship more. But if we work on all the previous floors, including this one, you're going to again work towards that trust and work towards strengthening that commitment.
I think so many of us are afraid of arguments.
Oh yeah.
And there's to argue it doesn't necessarily mean your marriage is over.
No.
But when you do argue, avoid the put downs.
Correct.
Avoid all that language where you minimize and make judgment statements and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or in any way that you're harsh towards your partner's words. Definitely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a level of understanding from both sides is important. Understanding, for instance, just as an example, me understanding my wife's culture is so important, in our arguments and so forth. But yet at the same time, understanding is not one-sided.
Yeah.
It comes, for instance, if my wife was here, my hope is that she would say, yeah, I need to understand Dan too and how he grew up.
Oh yeah. And that's exactly how a couple should look at their relationship, is learning to explore and discover who their partner really is.
Right.
Under the surface, what's the past, because all of it, and a lot of our younger couples especially, they don't realize that our upbringing, our previous relationships, all of that manifests in some way or another in our current relationship. And if it's bad, negative, we could be reintroducing negative talk to our current spouse or current partner that we actually mean towards our past partner if we don't heal right. So we got to be careful with all of the compliments and the way we're talking to one another, because quite often it can lead to something that's really negative.
Right.
Another thing that he wanted to make sure is, how do you make dreams come true? So now we know how you can make your partner fall apart, how we can make her or him feel like you're not sharing those dreams, that you don't care about them, where they feel minimal, they don't feel, special, they don't feel like they're as important as your dreams. So how do we make your partner feel great? Well, we need to create a special space for them to feel safe.
Right.
That's the first step, because a lot of our partners, they've had such bad upbringings that they don't have a feeling of feeling safe. So they're used to, if I tell you my dreams, you're going to make fun of me. If I tell you my dreams, you're going to minimize it, or you're going to judge me. So giving them that safe space to go, hey, what's something that you've always wanted to do, babe? Hey, tell me about your dreams. Tell me a little bit more about your childhood dreams. What did you want to be? Again, exploring and being, and doing it in a way of curiosity and nothing with judgment. That's the biggest part, is we don't want any judgment when we're learning about one another.
Right. Right.
The next part is to be curious and open-minded. So when we are inquiring about our partner's dreams, inquire more. Don't just be superficial and go, tell me about your dream. Okay, that's cool. But say, tell me more. Give me more details about that. How about we go further exploring into what could we do to make that dream come true, maybe? And then the last one is finding ways to support it. So how can I support you in making this dream come true? Is there a small step that we could take together right now to get closer to your dream coming true?
Right.
Lots of support, lots of open-ended questions, non-judgment, and just kind of leaving the floor open for your partner to say, hey, these are my dreams and aspirations. They might not align with yours, but please be respectful enough to at least see them. So you see where I'm at. And then what the next step would be, let's find a common ground. If you don't agree with my goals and dreams, maybe there's something we could find a common ground. A big one is where we're going to move. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I want to move by the beach. Well, I like the cold. Okay, well, maybe there's a middle state where it has nice cold winters, but nice warm summers. Maybe we find a middle ground there.
Right.
Little things like that to help support one another's dreams.
Right.
Another thing that he also said was when we're exploring each other's dreams together, um, what is one dream you had growing up that still matters to you today? And how can I support you in that?
Yeah.
So again, asking those dreams, asking how we can bring them up together. How can we as a couple go to your goal? If you're not alone anymore, I'm with you, I'm your partner, and we're going to go towards that goal together. And then lastly was when the dreams conflict. I can't say that word sometimes, sorry.
Right.
So if the dreams do clash, instead of fighting over who's right, we got to look a little bit deeper. Okay, why is that dream so important to your partner? What's the value underneath it? Where does it come from? Where is it derived from?
Yeah.
If having a white picket fence is very important to your wife, and you say, oh, I think they're ugly, I don't want one. Well, why is it important to your wife? Let's dig in there. Oh, well, when she was little, she always dreamed of a picket fence. Okay,
Right.
well, there's some history there, there's some emotion there, and just a matter of respecting it and giving it a little bit of its time. That's most important. It's just giving your partner the feeling that I'm important enough for you to even hear my crazy dreams.
Right.
So just a quick recap, I guess, would be everyone holds deep dreams, because we all do. And they, most of the time, they derive from our childhood or upbringing. Couples thrive when they listen, validate, and support dreams. So as long as we're listening and validating doesn't mean that we agree with them,
Right.
but we're just hearing them out. We're just being respectful enough to give them that space.
Right.
And then even conflicts that can become connection when you explore, there's dreams underneath it.
Right.
So again, even if it doesn't make sense, it derived from some place. Try to find out why that dream is so important to your partner. If it doesn't make sense to you, ask them, why does this make sense to you? Why does this mean so much to you? And maybe you'll understand, and then you'll have a little more empathy towards maybe helping them get that dream, done, helping support them with it. But yeah. And then the quote that I thought was really good from Gottman is, in a relationship, dreams are sacred.
Yeah.
And I know it seems like a very simple thing, but I like how he said dreams are sacred. That verbiage right there, how a dream is not just something that we have, but it's something that we hold precious.
Right.
It's something that we have as a part of almost a part of our soul. It's a part of us. And so because it's so important, that's why we have to give it a little bit of time in our relationship to speak about it, to learn about it, and to kind of give each other that room to be whoever they want to be.
Right. Right. We only have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
What is the next floor?
So the next floor is the 7th floor, and it is, don't remember.
That's fine. Because I wanted to do was follow up on the dreams.
Yeah.
When we go on to our because I was going to share one of mine. Well, I'll share it real quick.
Yeah.
One of my dreams is I'm fulfilling it now. I wish it was faster, but I always dreamed that I would be owner of several businesses operating at the same time, empowering others for their dreams to come true.
That's beautiful.
Your dream, I'm sure, is to be a
Help as many
counselor.
people. Oh,
Yeah, help people. Josh, the cameraman's dream, I'm not sure yet. I need to talk to him and find out his dream, as he's sitting there trying to roll his eyes to me, but I'm sure his dream maybe is to be successful in whatever he does, whatever it is. I don't know.
Whatever your dream is,
Yeah.
we just got to show respect towards it.
Right. So, that's always been my dream, and not only to empower others, but also, my dream is to be able to give where there's a need, and help where there's a need. So that's my dream. And what is one of your dreams?
One of my dreams is to help as many people as I can with therapy. I love being a therapist. That's my thing. I love being a therapist.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your dream here. And dreams are important to the audience. You said that Make Life Dreams Come True is the title of this floor.
Yes.
So my hope is for the audience that your dreams come true, and share with your spouse your dreams, share with others your dreams.
Oh,
And
yeah.
maybe when we all come together, we can help each other's dream come true.
Oh, yeah.
Please follow us on the Journey podcast and subscribe to the Journey podcast here at Pathfinder Counseling Group or Pathfinder Media Group. Just be part of our lives so our dreams can come true to help you. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right.